There's two. Okay, so here's this.
Okay. Hello, this is for my speech for the informative speech on cell phones. And we're going to get started here in just a moment. Okay, who's going to hold the camera for me?
I got
All
it.
you have to do is show my
Hold on.
face. There you go.
Does that work?
That works good. Okay. Okay, cell phones. Let me see, who has a cell phone? I can hold it. There you go.
Er,
Everyone has one of these nowadays, and it seems like everyone is really reliant on these, that everyone has to have them, and we feel lost without them. And it's interesting because just 30 years ago, these didn't even exist. When they first came out in the early 80s, they were giant boxes that looked like walkie-talkies with huge antennas. And although they were cool and people could use them, people that had them were thought of as being really state-of-the-art technology-wise. They looked kind of dumb, and people didn't really want them. And so when they started making them smaller, they became real popular. Why are they popular? Well, one thing is they're convenient, and it's one of those things that serves man's needs to always have better technology to make them a life easier, or to give them the ability to do things they couldn't do before. And invention usually sparks from being lazy, and we have to find ways to improve our lives with technology, and we did that with the cell phone. Because before, there was just a landline phone that was in your home, and
sorry.
okay, the phone went off. See, so they're always going off, and always people trying to contact you at all times. And before that, we could just make phone calls from our homes, and you couldn't call anybody if you were out and about. You couldn't connect to people. Usually, long distance was a chore and had to require a different number, and was charged a different rate. And it just kind of was a useful thing because before phones there was letters, but now we have cell phones, so now we can call anybody at any time. And the nice thing about this is also there's voicemail, and you can surf the web on some of these with smartphones. So now you have a personal computer at your disposal. Texting is becoming extremely popular. And so we've changed in how we use our phone, and now it's a really big part of our life. Now they say that there's 7 billion people on the earth, and 6.8 billion people have cell phones. So it tells you how important those things are to our lives. And because they're convenient, a lot of people become obsessed with these cell phones. And the reason for that was there's a couple psychological factors that go into why someone would be obsessed with using a phone. Well, first, they are a good source of social interaction. So now people rely on their phone to connect with each other socially. And so it kind of has done a disservice to people speaking face-to-face or having face-to-face interactions. And a lot of younger people who've never known life without a cell phone don't have that opportunity to be good at speaking face-to-face. But it helps us with our social interactions. And so we become obsessed with that. We're afraid to not use our phone or have it with us at all times because we might miss something. And it's also important to us because we want to be connected. That we want to be able to connect to anybody at any time because we might miss something again. And that's also part of being left out. It's a fear of human beings have in general, and the phone kind of takes that up on that. Also, there's a couple factors of the cell phone that you have to consider. Technologically, 30 years ago, they didn't exist, but now that they do, the technology in one of these, there's more technology in one of these today than was the lunar lander in the 60s. So that tells you how far we've come in like 30, 40 years. And so in 40 years from now, who knows what these things can do and how big they'll be or what applications they'll have. But there also is some factors that are important to mention on the cell phone, is that although you can use them and it's more convenient for you, there are also some health concerns. First of all, these have been led to, according to Psychology Today, sleep disorders and depression and basically other psychological disorders from cell phone use that is encouraged by using cell phone use. Sleep disorders because you don't get a good night's rest because you're always watching or listening for your phone. These produce a light that makes your brain think that you're still in daylight, so you don't get the full dark sleep rest. And there's also a factor that could possibly stir up some other already existing mental conditions you might have, like OCD or anxiety disorder. This could be a conduit to those problems. So there's also the factor of safety. Obviously now a big problem we have in our society is texting while driving and the amount of deaths and the accidents that occur while doing that. So we have this great technology, but yet we are willing to jeopardize our safety for the use of this. So just because we want to have this, we're willing to get into an accident or maybe even die, which kind of shows you how important those are to us. So in general, we've talked about what the cell phone is, how long it's been around, and the technology that has come from the cell phone and how it has evolved to why we use them, and also why we might have some problems with using them in our lives, and why they're so important for us.